Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday. I hope everyone's had a lovely weekend, and I hope all the mothers out there, whether you're human mothers or fur baby mothers, have had a really good weekend. I know I did. I got spoiled with homemade cakes from my daughter, and I got some flowers, chocolates, you name it, I got it. So I hope everyone had a really good weekend. This case I'm bringing to you, Astin Drummond's, he is a really nasty piece of work. He really is. He's been in prison before, um, and for the crimes that he's allegedly done, he could get the death penalty, and I think that is probably the right punishment for him. Let me just take my reading glasses off a minute. I think that's a good punishment for him because of his past. And I presume while he was in prison, he wasn't the model prisoner either. I'm sure he landed up causing some, trouble inside. But he's alleged to kill 4 people in one family. But he spared the life of a 7-month-old baby. So, was he not that callous enough to unalive the child? It could quite well be, because I mean, the little 7-month-old girl, she's absolutely gorgeous. Like all babies, they're all gorgeous in my opinion. But for some reason, he just didn't unalive the child. He killed the rest of the members of the family. But then after the unaliving of the 4 family members, he drove so far, I think it was like 40 minutes away from the crime scene, and dropped off the baby on someone's doorstep. And, he went there and sort of like was sounding his horn just to make sure that whoever was in that house would come to open the door and pick up the baby so that the baby wasn't left outside. So he's also got a kidnapping charge on the rest of the alleged charges that he's done of unaliving the 4 family members. It is quite a confusing case. It really is. I tried reading through some of it to be able to tell you all, sort of like without having to read notes off the paperwork, because if some of you are returning back to my channel and seen me before, I do have dyslexia. That's why I really, really want to try and make the YouTube side of things work, because I think it might help my dyslexia. But the only time I have problems is when I'm reading stuff aloud, the word that I want to say doesn't come out. So I do get tongue-tied and I do get embarrassed with it. Even though I'm 58 years old, I still get embarrassed with the dyslexia. I was told this would be hard, and it certainly is difficult. But let's go back to the story. I'm going to put up the family tree so you can all see. This is baby that was abandoned. James Matthew Wilson, he's 21 years old. He's the baby's biological father. And then you got Adriana Williams. She was age 20. She's the baby's mother. Now you've got Brandon Williams, age 15, who's the uncle. Just remember this off by heart, I think. Courtney Rose, 38, is the grandmother and the sister of, no, she would have been Adriana's mum, I think. And then it's believed that Astin Drummond was dating Courtney's sister. So you can see from that, it is confusing. But yeah, so that is the sort of like little family history map. I'll just remove this, bring these up. These are the 4 people he's allegedly took their lives away from them. As you can see, they're all absolutely gorgeous. And the grandmother, look at her. She's 38 years old. And she looks like that being the grandmother. It's just unreal. I guess makeup helps. I guess it does. But I will bring up the news item for you from Vinny. I love Vinny. he really does a good job in reporting. Share the screen. Just make sure it's up there. And when I play the video, I'm going to make sure the video is actually playing for you. Because when I did one earlier, I did 15 minutes in and found out you couldn't see Vinny on the screen. So let me just play this.
Old baby abandoned, alive and alone on a stranger's yard in Tennessee. Investigators quickly posted pictures of the baby and tracked down her
just turned off
family. But when they got to the home, they discovered a horrific scene. The baby's mom, dad, grandma, and uncle all killed. A family slaughtered. Authorities named Astin Drummond, 28 years old, as the prime suspect, charging him with 4 counts of first-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, and weapons violations. Drummond is a violent felon who was recently released from prison after maxing out his sentence. He was also out on bond for an unrelated attempted murder charge. A massive manhunt ensued across West Tennessee as Drummond was declared armed, dangerous, and wanted for the execution-style killings of the little baby's relatives. Ultimately, public tips led to his dramatic arrest in Jackson, and today he was in court for his first appearance, and we have all the latest.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. Great to have you aboard. This case out of Tennessee, it's still not clear to me what we are talking about here. Let's start first. There was
I'm glad it wasn't clear to him, because it certainly wasn't clear to me. My mind was frazzled. I know I'm battling with extreme exhaustion at the moment, but I couldn't work it out, and I'm glad Vinny can't work it out, because if Vinny can't work it out, then no one stands a hope in working it out. But let me know in the comments what you think, and please like and subscribe to my channel. And by doing that, you're giving this little baby a voice, because we got to give the voice to the voiceless. That baby's likely to have been in the same rooms as the family members were unalived. Luckily, the baby's not likely to remember any of it, but it's still not a nice situation to be in. So please like and subscribe to my channel today. I really appreciate it. It goes a long way with the YouTube algorithms. And at the same time, you're giving a voice to the voiceless. And that is the most important thing here.
Precious life that was spared. A mass killer takes a baby and removes the baby from the scene of this horrific massacre of 4 people, all from her family. Takes the baby, removes the baby from the scene, because he knows, if I leave the baby here, this baby will die. There'll be no one to take care of the child, and no one knows that the child is in peril. So there's a really good chance that this baby is going to die. So I'm going to remove this baby from the scene, drive 40 minutes away, and then go to a stranger's home and drop the baby off, but honk the horn and make sure that someone in that house knows that there's a baby who needs to be taken care of right here. Knowing that by leaving the baby there, it will lead investigators relatively quickly to the mass murder scene that was left behind. So think about that. Think about putting all those pieces together. That's what's happening here. To save the baby, it's going to cause investigators to find what was left behind, the murder of 4 people. Now, like I said, 4 lives were taken there. So the same person who is saving the baby is killing the baby's mother, is killing the baby's father, is killing the baby's grandmother, and is killing the baby's 15-year-old uncle. You're taking all that away from this child, but you want to make sure the child lives. It brings me to the point of this case where you're trying to figure out this killer. Is this a heartless killer who will kill and attempt to kill? And it doesn't matter, the body count just doesn't matter. I'll take your life for whatever the reason is. Don't forget, according to investigators, the suspect in this case, Astin Drummond, already maxed out a sentence for a violent crime. Then while in prison, was charged with attempted murder, trying to take someone else's life, gets out and allegedly commits mass murder of a 15-year-old, two 20-year-olds, and a 38-year-old, all related. Wipes out a family.
But he spares the baby. So I think Astin has a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of compassion. Or if he was going to attempt to take the baby's life, the baby looked at him with those gorgeous eyes, and he probably thought to himself, I can't take a child's life. He's got no problem taking adults' lives or a person as young as 15. But what they must have gone through, I really hope they didn't see it coming, but I haven't listened to Vinny, so I'm listening to this with you and reacting to it with you as well. So please like and subscribe. And if you want any questions about this or any theories, or you know the persons, please drop a message in the comment section, because I do read and reply to every comment. It may take me a day or two till I see the comments there, but I do reply back to everyone.
But on the other hand, is this a killer with a heart who saved a baby that isn't so detached from the world, that took the time to save a child, despite the fact that saving the child was going to lead investigators much more quickly to the scene and much more quickly to him? What exactly is going on here? And this is important because of the allegations of taking those 4 lives, having that track record beforehand, made this a case, and I spoke with the prosecutor earlier this week, that this was a case that was death penalty eligible. So what goes into the equation here? Is this a killer with a heart that you would not seek the death penalty against? Or is this a heartless killer, the worst of the worst, who you would go after with the ultimate punishment in the state of Tennessee? That question answered today by Danny Goodman, the District Attorney General, was on this program and was in court today.
General, does the state wish to be heard on bond at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, at this time, the state intends to seek the death penalty. This is a capital case. We're asking that he be held without bond.
The state is seeking the death penalty and requests that he be held without bond. This is now at the next level. This is a death penalty case. Take a listen to the judge laying out the charges and the allegations that will now become death penalty eligible for this jury. Take a look.
Come on, Ed. Come on, Vinny.
There's one count of first-degree murder. It's alleged that on 29th of July, Mr. Braden Williams was located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds on Carrington Road in Tiptonville in Lake County, Tennessee. In addition to that, finally, he has one count of aggravated kidnapping and a possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. It's alleged that all of the victims in the count in the case that previously were mentioned were located deceased from apparent gunshot wounds on the same date. A minor child with the date of birth 12/12/2024. with the initial WW was discovered left in the front of a residence in Dyer County, Tennessee. States that Mr. Drummond committed the offense of aggravated kidnapping by false imprisonment, which was committed to facilitate the commission of a felony or flight. It's alleged he committed this offense also possessing a firearm during the commission of said dangerous felony when he possessed a firearm. He therefore has those counts. General Goodman, is the state moving forward with felony charges in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
Mr. Drummond, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for you at this time on your behalf, being that you did not have counsel appointed or retained to represent you.
You know, as you look at him there, making that first appearance, sitting in the chair, surrounded by law enforcement and personnel from the court, it almost looks like he's ready for the death penalty there. But this is now a death penalty case. How is this issue of saving the baby gonna play now? We know what the prosecutor thinks about it, but what will the jury think about it as they potentially have to make this decision of life or death if, in fact, he's convicted of this quadruple murder? Let's bring in our think tank. Joining me tonight, attorney Stephen Longo. Also joining us, criminal defense attorney Eklund Mercy and criminal defense attorney Ellis Palavides. Great to see everyone tonight. Stephen, what are your thoughts about, because to me, that's what this, if in fact, you know, the evidence is as strong as we believe it is, it led to this man very quickly. He ran, you know, he was on the run, he was on the lam. Everything's pointing towards a potential guilty verdict in this, right? If that happens and this jury has to decide life or death, how big of an issue will be the fact that, yes, he spared the baby's life and he made sure that the baby was taken care of?
I think it'll be prevalent, if only because it's the only thing he has to maybe save him from the death penalty. And what is also curious is that we currently do not have any released documents regarding what the motive was for these killings. We read that there may be some loose association with the grandmother's sister, but I would be curious to see if any of this motive winds up being somehow tied to the reason why the baby was spared.
Eklund, what are your thoughts here? The defense, I don't know how big of a hand they're going to be dealt. I think Stephen's right when you talk about the motive, the why of it, if in fact he's responsible. If the why of it plays into some mitigating factor, I can't imagine what it would be.
No.
But how about the baby? How about the baby? Does this whole thing for the defense revolve around the child?
Yeah, no, because there's still bodies. There's plenty of bodies, and the fact that the child survived, it kind of is. It's just, we're just happy that the child survived, but it doesn't help or hurt him. You understand what I'm saying?
But the baby didn't just survive, right? The baby was removed from a scene where the baby would have likely not survived by the alleged killer, placed on a stranger's lawn, but not just left there. I mean, he took the action of leaning on the horn and making sure that someone took care of the baby.
There's too many bodies. There's too many bodies, Vinny. There's too many bodies. So apparently your conscience came up a little bit towards the end and you decided to, try to make it to happen. It doesn't matter. There's too many bodies. The fact that he had a conscience towards the end doesn't negate all the bodies that he left behind. The baby doesn't have a family because of him. So it really doesn't matter. It actually hurts him more. In the closing, the prosecutor is going to use that baby to undo him. So I don't think it's going to help him at all.
Now, there's another little fact here, Ellis, I want to put into the mix because the defendant spoke today at this first appearance. They were talking about him hiring an attorney, but during the course of that, we learned about his small business that he was running. Let's listen closely.
I'm not going to be able to lie, sir.
Okay. Sir, if you could, to the best of your ability, please raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is true, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You put your hand down, sir. Mr. Drummond, prior to being taken in on these charges, sir, were you working anywhere?
I have a business, medical rent business, kids parties, also restaurant shows, decorations, stuff like that.
So you were self-employed, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Inflatable balloons for kids' parties. That's the business he was in, Ellis. What are your thoughts about this guy? Again, if he's convicted, his chances of trying to save himself from the death penalty and going to death row and eventually being executed.
I do think it is a mitigating factor now that we're at the penalty phase, right? He can't really leverage it if he tries the case, because then he would in essence have to admit that he did it, right? To save the baby from it, he would have to have admitted to doing it. So you can only use it at the sentencing. But at the sentencing, I think the issue is going to be he's got a pretty bad record. He was out for another attempted murder. And I think when you start weighing and balancing everything, he was only out 11 months before this happened while he's fighting an attempted murder case. I think eventually he's going to have to hear the music on that. And he created the situation where he needed to save the baby as well, right? You set the house on fire and saved one person in there. That's not really going to do that much.
Yeah. I mean, he had a moment of compassion in the midst of a mass murder. It's bizarre. I've never seen this before. And I think the one fact we don't know, as Stephen pointed out, is why this took place. If in fact there's a trial, my guess, Stephen, that's what the trial will be about, right? If they can place him at the scene, if they've got some sort of evidence that places him there and places the weapon in his hand, then the defense has to be about something that the victims did to him. And I don't know if that exists, but to me, that's what the trial will be about before you get to the penalty phase.
Well, that's exactly what it's.
I agree. It has to, as you said, has to be about the why. Why did these things happen? Why did he do them? And I'll be curious to see how this unfolds.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Eklund, I can't imagine what is going on here. Now, there may be some connection with the grandmother's sister, so they knew him, so he wouldn't have to storm into the house for whatever reason. But these were people he knew.
Yeah, that's why I don't think you're going to get the why unless he pleads. I think that by going the death penalty, you kind of didn't give him an option to plead. I think that for the purposes of judicial economy, if he were to take the death penalty off the table, he would more likely be able to give you the whole story and, the whole story at sentencing. And that may be able to give the family some peace. Mm-hmm. But trying to find the whole story during trial.
I've just reading through some documents, which I'll go through at the end. There's also charges with alleged people involved with this. There is 3 people charged with alleged accessory after the fact of first-degree murder, and with tampering of evidence. So there's a lot more into this. And then I'm still trying, while Vinny's talking to you, I'm trying to see what the motive is, because as I say, I've got quite a lot of documents and I'm just trying to make sense out of the documents, but I'll let Vinny carry on talking to you.
Yeah, not happening, buddy, because, the defendant does not have to testify. They have the right to be silent and not testify. So I don't think in a case like this, he's not taking the stand. So the only way you're going to get his story is if he pleads.
Yeah. All right, Think Tank staying with us for the hour. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about the dismembered wife murder trial plus coming up in the next hour.
Let me come back.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigation, she delivered a tearful eulogy and posted
Don't think this is to do with Drummond.
grieving TikToks for the world to
No. So let me just share this picture with you, and I'll try and find where I've got these things. Just find the folder now. Can't find the folder. Where did I put it? Aha. Just got to save this image. And then I'll try and make sense of these things. StreamYard. So that's the four victims he's alleged to unalived. Excuse me. And then somehow, no, I don't want to do that. Somehow these people here are all connected with the same case. So you got Michelle, no, you haven't. You got that person there, I'm not pronouncing the names, accessory after the fact. Thomas, he's also accessory after the fact. I guess he's got it twice. And then the other two people, oh gosh, you got Eric Jermaine Wise at the bottom left. He's an accessory after the fact. And then Denise Deborah Sanders, she's also accessory after the fact. But let me just go back to my I've gone and deleted it now. Bear with me, guys. This one. I had all the files up ready, and then I just go and accidentally cross off the wrong one. Right. Here's Astin. Just double click him a minute. Because he's got quite colourful past as well. So we know about the highway. So as we know, he did this all on the 29th of July, where the 7-month-old infant is found abandoned in the car seat. So on the 30th of July, victims identified, which is the 4 people he's alleged to unalived. And then the 31st of July 2025, TBI names Astin Robert Drummond, 28, as the suspect. Officials note his previous relationship with the victims. Investigation intensifies. TBI agents obtained warrants for Astin Robert Drummond, date of birth the 31st of the 8th, 96, charging him with 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, and 4 counts of felon in possession of a firearm, and 1 account, 1 account of possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. At this time, Drummond remains at large, should be considered armed and dangerous with anyone information. So that went out. And then there was a $15,000 combined rewards was announced. And then Saturday, the 2nd of August, 2 vehicles tied to the case found previously mentioned, an Audi and a 1988 white full pickup with red stripes in Dyer County. Investigation revealed Drummond's associate Giovanni Thomas assisted Drummond on Saturday. Agents obtained warrants and charging Thomas with accessory after the fact to first-degree murder. Thomas was already being held in Madison County Jail on an unrelated charge of failure to appear. He was transferred to the Lake County Jail to be arraigned on new charges. Tanaka Brown, age 29, and Ginovati, I can't pronounce that name, were arrested in Jackson and charged with accessory after the fact. Brown also faces evidence with tampering charges. The reward was raised to $17,500. And then Sunday, the 3rd of August, I might as well show this to you, ain't I? Let me go back to StreamYard. Share image, share screen. Oops, which one do I want? That one. Because you can probably read it. Hopefully it goes up. So Sunday, the 3rd of August, at 11:20 p.m., confirmed sighting of Drummond is captured on a residence surveillance camera in the 700 block of Pipkin Road, Jackson. He was seen wearing a full camouflage, carrying a brown backpack and armed with a black rifle. Law enforcement's request the video from nearby areas of Pipkin Road, Pleasant Plains Road, Oil Well Road, and County Club Lane. I'll just check that this is scrolled up for you. Hopefully you can read that, guys. Let me go back to the reading. Monday, the 4th of August, 2025, Deborah Sanders is arrested and charged with accessory after the fact to first-degree murder in relation to Drummond's evasions efforts. Federal complaint filed by U.S. Marshals indicates Drummond may have crossed the state lines. Manhunt was widely national. Reward increased again, now $30,000 to $32,500, including contributions from the TBI, Marshals Governor's Office, and Crime Stoppers groups. 11 o'clock, another possible sighting of Drummond has been reported. The Tennessee Highway Patrol and Tennessee Bureau of Investigations and Jackson Police all have been staged a further investigation, searching the area around Pleasant Plains, Oil Well Road, and County Club Lane behind Cherry Grove Apartments. Just check this is scrolled up for you. No, it didn't scroll up for you. Why is it not scrolling up for you? It should be. I'll read what I can anyway. I'm not going to read every single bit to it. 3 minutes past 4, police are asking citizens in the Pipkin Road and Pleasant Plains Road area are urged to review all Ring doorbell and security camera footage recorded from 10 p.m. Saturday, the 3rd of August, and the current time. And then 3 minutes to 7, police release and update a confirmed sighting of the suspect. Astin Drummond was captured on citizens' camera in the 700 block of Pipkin Road last night. Drummond is considered to be armed and dangerous. Please exercise extreme caution when you come and go from your homes. Drummond is believed to still be in the area, and it's crucial to stay vigilant. Ensure all doors and garages and sheds and outbuildings are securely locked to prevent unauthorized access. We urge all residents to report any suspicious activity caught on camera. So there is a website for that. What else is there? Right, so let me see if you can still see this. Confirmed. Yeah, so it is scrolling up, guys. I just didn't think it was. So, late night, Astin Drummond hides inside a vacant pool house behind a Jackson TN home. The pool house is luxurious, furnished with a large screen TV mounted on the wall, dining table with service for 8, sofa, love seat, armchair and coffee table, artwork and multiple fans. Drummond's makeshift bed in the closet using couch cushions. So he made himself really quite comfortable, didn't he, guys? And had a TV and a pool that he could have used, everything. So he was living the life. So he was still at large thing. So if we go to August the 5th last year, at 10 minutes past 8 in the morning, the home caretaker approaches the pool house. As I came up to the pool house, I sensed something off, and that's when I encountered the suspect, caretaker to Fox 13. Drummond emerges from inside, armed. He came from inside of the pool house where he had apparently been hiding out, and had either a large rifle or shotgun, and pointed it at me and yelled. The caretaker and Drummond both reacted with surprise. I hit the ground, scrambled, and took off running. He took off running. He ran towards me at first, which made me take off and spooked him. The caretaker flees into the woods, calls 911, and the flags down law enforcement. Drummond also runs into the surrounding woods. Police release a sighting report. 8:15, alert issued to residents in the Bridle Path and Saddlebrook area should immediately shelter in place. Anyone in the Pleasant Plains and County Club area is temporarily blocked off. 2 additional witnesses spot Drummond. I could take my headphones off now because I hate wearing my headphones. Astin, so 2 additional witnesses spot Astin Drummond in the woods and contact the police authorities. Already coverage on the area. 9:15, Astin Drummond is now in law enforcement custody after being caught in Jackson. And then 2:00, celebration of life of James Matthew Wilson. Media instructions, arraignment scheduled in Lake County, TN. Any requests for documents related to the case will need to be submitted to the General Sessions Court Clerk in Lake County. So we know that on the 7th of August, Drummond appeared in court and the judge ordered no bond. Judge Andrew Cook entered a not guilty plea on behalf of Drummond due to Drummond not having an attorney at this time. Prosecutors announced they would seek the death penalty hearing. Drummond said he was self-employed. Then Deborah Denise Sanders appeared in court, ordered no bond, and an order of protection was issued for the victim's family. Sanders is prohibited from contacting them. Her next court date would be August the 14th. Brandon Powell, he's charged with conspiring with Astin and introduced contraband into penal institution via a drone. He is reportedly in the process of hiring an attorney. The state suggested a $75,000 bond for his release. The case has been continued to Monday, the 11th of August, 2025. He had separate hold in Crockett County, Tennessee, and will face charges there as well. 14th of August, 9 a.m. Drummond's next court appearance will be in the Lake County Circuit Court. Bond review hearing regarding charges. Astin Drummond faced charges before the 29th of July, quadruple homicide in Lake County. The outcome, bond revoked and no new bond was set. The hearing was brief. Agent Harbour read newly filed charges against Drummond, not related to the homicides. So prosecutors argued Drummond killed, or unalived, I should say, unalived 4 people in the early hours of 29th of July. He then left the scene, returned, and later travelled to Madison County. He remained at large for 7 days before surveillance and tips helped to identify him. Surveillance video from the Cornerstone Community Church in Jackson, captured on the 3rd of August, showed Drummond holding an AR-style pistol. Witnesses later tried to be more specific to the weapon to him. Police recovered both the AR-style weapon and handgun linked to him. Cell phone location data also placed Drummond at the murder scene. The defense challenges the prosecution claims, asking for proof of possession and the timeline. However, they presented no contradictory evidence. Then Drummond committed attempted burglary and unlawfully possessed firearms as a convicted felon. So on September the 2nd last year, 2025, Madison County Grand Jury returned indictments on 2nd of September 2025 in connection to the 29th of July unaliving of James, Adriana, Courtney and Braden in Tiptonville. Astin Drummond was the primary suspect, was captured in Jackson on the 5th of August after being on the run for 7 days. Both Drummond and additional defendants were booked into Madison County Jail for the following indictments. So those 4 people there got in it. And then September the 4th, judge found probable cause for first-degree murder of Adriana, Matthew, Courtney and Braden, aggravated kidnapping, possession of a firearm with intent to go armed during a dangerous felony. No charges for bonds, being convicted of felon and possession of a firearm. And then the case is due on the 17th of September last year. And then when he went to the Lake County judge ruled Astin should be transferred from local jail custody to the Tennessee Department of Correction while awaiting trial. And then while he was waiting that, it says Drummond had temporarily been housed at the Obion County Jail, but that facility reported serious security and resource concerns, including jail staff were overburdened trying to keep Drummond safe. Drummond smeared feces on his cell window, creating a safety hazard. During a strip search, officers found 39 Subsicone tablets on Drummond. So he's still, not trying to help his case whatsoever. So November the 10th, a grand jury indicted Astin Drummond for the unaliving of the parents, grandmother and teenage uncle of the baby found abandoned in Tennessee. Prosecutors argued Drummond lured the 4 family members of his girlfriend, Caitlin Speed, to the location in Lake County and then unalived them. Officers testified that they found the bodies of Courtney, Adriana, Braden, Matthew. They were covered with tarps at the location. Authorities believe Drummond took the baby of Wilson and Williams and stole the truck belonging to one of the victims. Deputies later found the baby in Dyer County, about 25 miles away, abandoned in the yard. District Attorney General for the 29th District, Danny Goodman's office, filed for notice of intent to seek the death penalty. On the 14th of November, if you're all with me, because I'm doing this with you as well, judge rejects the bid to stop Drummond's prison transfer. Judge Mark Hayes denies the defense appeal to block the transfer of Astin Drummond to the Tennessee Department of Corrections facility ahead of his trial. Court finds Drummond poses a significant behavioural and security risk based on multiple incidents in county custody, including the possession of succinylcholine and covering his cell door with paper and feces. I did say at the beginning of this that while he's in prison, he's not likely to be a good boy. Right. So Drummond's attorney, Drew Farmer, argues that the transfer could interfere with trial preparation because the defence does not know which facility will receive Drummond or how far it will be away. Farmer emphasises that Drummond remains a pretrial detainee and is presumed innocent. Despite these concerns, the court orders our transfer, and Drummond will now be housed at the TDOC custody until his trial date of May the 7th this year. So that's why I couldn't find any, court feeds with it. So that's because his trial's coming up on this year, May the 7th. So let me write that down. Trial, because I like to try and cover these trials, 7th of May, but they may not allow any media in there. 7th May. Drummond continues to face the death penalty for killing of the family members. So we got that map as I showed you. That was where everything is. So I'll leave that up there for a minute for you guys so you can just see. Preliminary hearing. So we've gone over that. We don't really want to read out the timeline. So yeah, so there's still no, if I stop sharing that 1 minute, there's still no reasons why he did what he did. He may never tell those reasons, it's something he could keep to his dying days, but you would hope he would disclose why he did what he did. So I will do an update after the 7th of May. Yeah, because that's just a week before my holiday. So I will do an update of him. So I will do like a part 2 court case trial or whatever I decide to head it. So thank you again for everybody staying with me for 47 minutes. I really do appreciate it. And I, really appreciate it when people watch the video from start to end as well. If you could like and subscribe, as I said, it really helps me out as a new YouTuber. And if you fancy buying me a coffee, the details are scrolling at the bottom there. It's buymeacoffee.com/Kathy P. And you can put any amount. At the moment, it's set in dollars. I can't seem to change it to UK pounds. But, if you want to buy me a coffee to say thanks for bringing the story, you're most welcome to. And if you have any cases you would like me to cover, doesn't matter how big, how small, you can email me. The email's scrolling across the bottom there. It's truecrimefiles2026@gmail.com. And I will have a look at it and see what evidence, what research I can do into it. So once again, thank you very much for putting up with me, trying to do all that reading. That was a lot of reading. But I'm sure I'll get better. I'm not the fastest person in the world. So it'll probably take me a while to get really up there like some of the YouTube creators. Like my favorite one is Jay from Guilty of Crime. She's my favorite. I've got that girl. And so I think we got each other's backs when, we're talking about cases and things. And then one day, once I've got enough viewers to do a live stream, because I could do live streams now, but I haven't got many subscribers. And I did do a live stream a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't have one single person in the live stream. So I had no one to talk to. Absolutely no one at all. But it's because I'm new and my channel's not being liked and subscribed and shared enough algorithm. So that's the most important thing, is to get into the algorithm on YouTube. And then, like I was saying, once I've got enough supporters and I do a live, you never know, I'll invite Jay onto my screen and we'll do a talk topic, whatever we decide that we both agree on and both have followed. We'll both be live on screen and we can tell you things and you can ask us questions. So I think that'd be really nice, but that's not going to be for a little while yet. I wouldn't have thought, but that's something for the future. And that's definitely on the paper for that one. So once again, I shall see you to the next one. See you later, guys.